Hi gang, it's Lou from Dirigo Safety. It's the middle of the summer and it feels good. Let's see what's going on in our area. These Northern New England law enforcement news roll call briefings are short and focused on police-related issues for Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Northern Mass. These important and useful briefings are designed to give you some information you have not yet heard about or read in the news or in your confidential briefings. I have received many notices of personnel changes and new recruits and wanted to start this summer's briefing with some of them. Brattleboro, Vermont, like many larger departments, conduct an internal academy and field training before or after their formal state academy. In this photo on the left are 3 new officers going through their 3-week Valor training that is designed to provide them with foundational knowledge they will need to excel during their academy training. Providing the training in this image is retired Sergeant Orlando Alvarez from the Wyndham Regional Career Center. I also see, viewing Brattleboro social media, that the department introduces new officers to the community via a YouTube video. Watch this very short one from a few months ago featuring Officer Deanna Lopez. Perhaps an idea that you might want to incorporate in your agency.
My name is Deanna Lopez. I'm originally from New Mexico. I was a police officer for 2 years in Colorado. It was a rural area. It was only about 2,500 people, I believe, the population. Spanish was actually my first language. In Colorado, I would have to use Spanish every day. You can kind of tell with the body language. The moment I walked up to someone, they're already tensed up because I'm in uniform. If they spoke Spanish, weren't really good at English, you could also tell that they weren't very comfortable. And right off the bat, I would just be like, "Yo hablo español, todo está bien?" And then they would just have a big smile on their face and be like, "Oh, bueno. And then just start talking to me in Spanish. And then you could see them just like relief. And that was kind of nice to see that I could be able to put someone at ease. Brattleboro has treated me great so far. I've actually had to speak to someone in Spanish already to help out some of the detectives, and it's been really fun when I'm able to do that because not many people speak Spanish here.
Rochester, New Hampshire swore in 5 new officers with Claire Bro, Robert Gillespie, Peter Tellolian, Caleb Bailey, and Rodney Musto. Thank you for your upcoming service and your attendance at the Police Academy. Derry PD is bringing on their very first police dog ever with Canine Latios, handled by Officer Colin Kennedy. Thank you to the Stanton Foundation that helped to pay for the cost of the dog being purchased, equipped, and the team's attendance at the Boston Canine Academy for 14 weeks of training. New Hampshire has begun to replace their men's prison following scathing reports of rat infestation, outdated security designs, mold, need to update technology, even outright holes in the walls in need of repair. The existing building was built in 1878, with its last renovation being in the 1980s. At an anticipated cost of $500 million, this is likely to be New Hampshire's most expensive capital project to date. It is likely to be constructed on the existing 300 acres adjacent to the current women's prison in Concord. In a report by the TSA, 19 guns were discovered from people or carry-on luggage in our New England airports. These guns were not supposed to be carried on the airplanes. Nationwide, there are over 3,000 guns each year discovered and stopped from entering the aircraft. Since its launch 2 years ago, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Hotline has fielded over 9.5 million calls, texts, and chats. Operating from 200 crisis centers, this 24/7 resource offers support to people in suicidal distress. While suicide is outside the top 10 killers in the U.S. overall, it ranks as the second highest cause of death for teens and the third highest cause of deaths for those aged 25 to 34. This hotline is available in multiple languages. New Hampshire has enacted the Elizabeth Croak Law, named after a 20-year-old killed in a collision that involved another driver who was overserved alcohol. This law increases civil over-service laws with a $2,500 to $7,500 fine, 10 to 30 days suspension of their liquor licenses, and requires the bar to post a public notice why their license was lost. In other news, our area is victim to rental scams. What is happening is that the crooks are taking photos of your house from existing online images and posting them on rental sites and collecting down payments. People reserve, pay, and show up believing they have the rental, only to find out about the scam, usually from the homeowner who greets them at the front door when they try to get in. So be on the lookout and perhaps warn your community about this before it happens. On Saturday, July 27th, there will be a massing of the colors in Columbia Falls, Maine. In partnership with the Military Order of World Wars and Wreaths Across America, this event will mark the 11th time guests will be welcomed, and the police and sheriff honor guards are invited to mass with the colors in a patriotic salute and ceremony. I see that Vermont has agreed to pay $175,000 to settle a lawsuit on behalf of a man who was charged with a crime for giving a state trooper the middle finger in 2018. The lawsuit was filed in 2021 and alleged that Gregory Bombard's First Amendment rights were violated after an unnecessary traffic stop and arrest when a trooper stopped Bombard's vehicle because he believed Bombard had shown him the middle finger. Bombard denied making the gesture, but was detained by the troopers for several minutes before questioning. After the initial stop concluded, Bombard cursed and displayed the middle finger as he drove away. The trooper stopped Bombard again, this time arrested him on a charge of disorderly conduct, and ordered the towing of his car. Bombard was jailed for over an hour and cited to criminal court. The charge was dismissed nearly a year later, and now the civil suit has been settled. There have been 11 deaths in just 4 days from car crashes here in New Hampshire. This means that there have been 64 fatal crashes this year compared to 58 the same time the year before. In Maine, there have already been 91 fatal car crashes this year compared with 62 the same time last year. Vermont is faring better with 32 fatalities compared to 36 the year previous, and Massachusetts has had 173 fatal car crashes compared to 193 last year. In a case that involved much of New England, I see that the Vermont State Police shot and injured a man fleeing from them. What started as a search and arrest warrant for illegal high-capacity firearms in Rhode Island led to Pittsburgh, New Hampshire, where the 30-year-old suspect was located driving his pickup truck by the U.S. Border Police. He fled in his truck into Vermont, striking 2 cruisers before the state police there was able to use a tire deflation device to stop the truck. The driver came out of the truck firing a weapon at the troopers before they exchanged gunfire, wounding the suspect. No officer or trooper were hurt during this arrest. His local Rhode Island police chief believed that he was planning some sort of mass shooting. There has been significant flooding in some areas, needing emergency police services to block off roads or otherwise respond to flooding emergencies. I see that the new issue of the Maine Bureau of Highway Safety newsletter is out and features such news as e-stop updates, where the police officer needs to report perceived race, gender, reason for the stop, and such descriptors. There is also news about Maine's cannabis law and training dates, news about becoming a drug recognition expert, or some summer safer driving tips to pass along, such as 60% of teenage collisions happen because of distracted driving, or the importance of adults being proper driving role models. In New Hampshire, there was a motorcyclist caught racing and caught at speeds of 158 miles an hour, and another person caught for his 6th DWI arrest. I guess this is a great time to point out the Slow Down New England initiative, July 26th, aimed to make better awareness towards driver speed and general highway safety. How about some training news? First, I want to let you know that I will be at the IACP conference, October 22nd in Boston, presenting some tips for canine unit fundraising for smaller agencies. You will learn more about ways to raise money for your canine unit to include local foundations, grants, and organizations that will give directly to your department for the establishment as well as general operating money for the canine. I hope to see you there, especially if you have a canine unit or are considering starting one. Dirigo Safety is also putting on a She Leads, a 3-part women's leadership collaborative skill building journey spread over 3 intensive training days. This curriculum will help participants identify their values, voice, and vision in a male-dominated workforce. Participants will receive an in-depth exploration of their own skills while developing a career path alongside peers, experienced women leaders, and subject matter experts. They will also receive mentoring and coaching as part of the series, with opportunities to network and build their community of women leaders. Participants will be supported through their individualized journey of establishing their values, finding their voice, and charting their vision. This class will meet once a month starting September 10th and ending November 12th in Auburn, Maine. Seeing that driving the police vehicle is one of the most dangerous parts of your job, there will be a police vehicle operation training August 27th or November 26th in person or via Zoom. Topics covered for the rookie to the experienced officer will be officer safety issues, liability concerns, emergency vehicle operation to include roadblocks, sleep deprivation issues, pursuits, shift issues, as well as case law updates, including Scott v. Harris. For those needing entry-level detective training or senior patrol officers taking on additional duties at major crime scenes, there is some training coming up November 20th, or perhaps you need it earlier, so there is some as well, August 13th through the 15th. You can check out all kinds of police training online at Dirigo Safety, or simply type in police training and add your state or region name into a web search engine. I hope you are enjoying the hot summer so far. If you have something noteworthy to pass along, reach out to me. I want to hear from you and to have you part of these useful future roll calls. So please keep your news coming. And until next time, I'm Lou. I hope all is well. Now let's get to work.